Hey, today we're going to talk about 5 different types of conflict in literature. And hey, look, every story has a conflict. Without conflict, there is no story. And a conflict is a struggle between two opposing forces. And there are 2 major types of conflict. Number 1, internal conflict takes place inside the body. It's a struggle within the character. 2, external conflict. This is conflict that takes place outside the body. It's a conflict between the character and an outside force. Now, what you're seeing here is an internal conflict. And what makes it an internal conflict is the character is struggling to determine what he should do. As you can see, there's a devil and there's an angel on his shoulder. So what this symbolizes is that he's having a hard time deciding between right and wrong. All right, now what we're witnessing here is an external conflict. And the reason why it's an external conflict is because we have 2 characters that are battling face to face. And anytime you have an external conflict, you have your character against an outside or opposing force. Now, what are 4 types of external conflict? That's what we're going to be talking about on the next slide. Man versus man is a type of conflict when one character has a problem with another character. Man versus nature is the next type of external conflict. In this type of conflict, a character is tormented by natural forces such as storms, animals, or even tornadoes. Now we get to man versus society conflict. With this type of conflict, what it means is a character has these very strong desires to do something. However, society says, no, you can't do that. It's against the rules. It's against the law, which is why you see a man about to get arrested. Man versus supernatural conflict occurs when the protagonist or the main character finds himself or herself pitted against a vengeful god or a powerful supernatural force. What is the one type of internal conflict called? We're going to get to that next on the next slide. And now we've arrived at the last type of conflict we're going to talk about, which is man versus self. This is the type of conflict that I said was from inside. It's an internal conflict. So the character struggles with making the right decision. They might be dealing with depression or other mental health issues, for example. Now that we've reached the end of the presentation, I would like you to check for understanding. So the first question I have for you is, what is the difference between internal and external conflict? Now, my hope is that you paid attention, you took good notes, and you can answer that question. Then resume to the next slide. Now, going forward, you need to remember that without conflict, there is no story. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Without conflict, there is no story. Conflict is what drives the character, and it's what engages the reader. Thanks for listening.